Hey, everybody, it is 21 next right now, and you were looking at the governor's residence where the governor, Josh Shapiro, and his family were staying Saturday night into Sunday morning when they got that knock on the door that there was a fire, and we're learning it could have been a lot worse as well. You're seeing huge damage in one of these ballrooms. There's a piano in there that's damaged and so much more. We have our team coverage of this coming up, but I want to start with what the fire chief said today about just how dangerous this situation was.
They quickly identified we had to cut some gates. They were able to make those cuts in the gates to get those hose lines stretched back to where the building was on fire. And we had a very significant fire burning. Everybody was down there in the ballroom and the reception area of the building. Unfortunately, we did have to force entry, so it wasn't just as easy as walking up to the building, opening the door, and getting in there. So we did have more work that we had to do to get inside that building. Once we got inside the building and started getting it opened up, we were able to quickly contain that fire from spreading.
He made a point of saying that luckily there was a door that was shut to a hallway that would have allowed that fire to spread closer to the bedroom area, and then it could have been even more dangerous. Also dangerous is the fact that a person was inside the governor's residence. According to the affidavit that I'm looking at right here, this happened overnight, like we said, Saturday into Sunday. Video surveillance shows this person surveilling the residence. That is the suspect. You're looking at Cody Balmer. We're going to get into his priors and his run-ins with the law before, but they said that he hopped over the fence about 6 to 8 feet tall, had a hammer, busted through the window, threw a Molotov cocktail inside, went inside, got inside, and then threw another Molotov cocktail. His plan, if he got confronted by the governor, was to use the hammer on the governor. That is why he's being charged with so many things, including attempted murder, aggravated arson, burglary, terrorism, and so much more. Okay, let's bring our reporters on this as we're learning more really almost every minute here as you see a little bit more of today's reaction to this, that window completely gone. Fatima Moen, she's going to be talking about the security situation. We have Grace Ruffalo talking about some of the prior run-ins that this suspect, Balmer, has had with the law. And you're going to see Elise Person in just a bit. She's talking about the religious angle of this. This is a holy week for Christians and Jewish folks. And so the fact that this happened after the second night of Passover, second Seder, some people were wondering if it was connected there. No official word that it is at this point. It seems very political, but she has the reaction of the Jewish community in our area. I'm going to start with you, Grace. So what do we know about this person and prior run-ins with the law?
Hey, Joel. So today we received multiple affidavits going over Cody Balmer's criminal history. He's had multiple run-ins with the law. This is dating all the way back to 2015. We are talking dozens of court documents, all for one man. So let's go back to 2015. He initially had his first run-in when he pleaded guilty for forging a paycheck. So he was put on probation. Again, that was back in 2015.
Just to point out, we're looking at what his residence is right here, but keep going.
Yes. So let's jump ahead to 2023. So he received multiple assault charges. The affidavit that I read, it said that he had attempted suicide and then he had gotten into an argument with the woman that he lived with. He then attacked that woman and apparently attacked her 13-year-old son as well. So let's fast forward now to today, or what had happened just hours ago. He's facing charges now for murder, arson, terrorism. These are really serious charges that we're talking about here. And actually, I got to speak to the Dauphin County District Attorney today just to kind of go over what these charges mean and if there even was a possibility for a hate crime charge to be added to this list. And he told me the way that Pennsylvania works with their law, that hate crime would just be added on to the charges that already exist. So if they do decide that this is considered a hate crime, it would just be added on to the arson charge or the attempted murder charge.
Yeah, so far, there's no direct links yet that have, said the reason for this was because of his Jewish faith. But the Jewish community in town, they're seeing when this happened, they're seeing how violent this is, and they have some thoughts on this. Elise Person's covering that part of the story. Elise.
Hey, yeah, so I spoke with the CEO and president of the Jewish Federation of Greater Harrisburg, and he told me that he acknowledged that at this moment there is not a connection between this definitively being a hate crime, but he said the timing of it, he said, us Jewish community, we typically, when something happens like this around such a big holiday, he said it definitely makes us pause and think that it is a hate crime. So the JCC in Harrisburg, they increased security following that just as a measure of precaution. But, I was told by the, president and CEO that politically right now, things are charged. Things are feeling kind of heavy. So for something like this to happen, the first night of Passover, he said that's really what, raised our alarm. People in the community did feel a little bit unsettled. They're offering any resources that the Jewish community here in, Dauphin County, Cumberland County, whatever they may need. But definitely was something that, made members of the local Jewish kind of take a pause and get a feel for what was, going on.
I want to tell you, we got some breaking news I'll let everybody know about right now. We're told that the suspect, Cody Balmer, will be arraigned at 5 p.m. today. So we might get our first look at a walk potentially. That's something that could happen in this scenario. So make sure you're watching CBS 21 right at 5 o'clock to potentially see that. I want to get to Fatima Moen here. The security experts that I talked to, and you're going to hear from one at 5:30 on our traditional newscast, are just beside themselves. How could this possibly happen given this politically charged atmosphere we are in? The president had 2 assassination attempts on him. We know about the unrest on college campuses when it comes to anti-Semitic attacks and speech. And yet this happens still. What can you tell us from the security expert that you spoke with?
Hi, Joldy. Hi, team. That's right. So I spoke with Dr. Chris Dolan from Penn State Harrisburg, and he just explained basically how, you just mentioned all those factors and this coming at the time, as we heard Elise explain, of a holiday. This all just comes back to whether this was intentional. And we looked at the fact that he mentioned how him having a hammer comes with the idea that there was some preparation. He definitely staked out. He definitely looked around, maybe went on a tour of the property. As we know, it's open to the public. So all these are now being considered as to now the future of the security of the property. As it is open to the public, we may be seeing, he explained, a larger, heavier wall instead of a fence. In the future, we might be seeing more surveillance, new technology, detecting motion, more light on the property at nighttime, especially. Those kind of measures in general just may be what come about this incident. And of course, since family members live there, when opening this property to the public, more surveillance, security measures before people even enter the property. I mean, again, this all comes at the cost of the incident over the weekend.
Right. Unfortunately, we're sometimes better at reacting to things than being proactive. You mentioned all of those types of security. You'd think all of that would actually be there to begin with. All right. Final word from you, Grace, and we'll let you get going. What do you most want to know moving forward?
I mean, there's still a lot of unanswered questions here. I'd love just to hear a motive. We're hearing hearsay, people motive, are speaking out, but I just want to know at the end of the day, like, what went behind this decision. Okay.
Well, if he's doing a walk for this arraignment, maybe we can get some questions in and see if he says anything. Grace, I'll let you get out of here. Once again, the suspect will be arraigned at 5 p.m. And you see on the bottom of the screen, assassination attempt. That may sound interesting to you. You're saying this, I thought this was an arson. Well, given the scenario of this house and what could have happened, once you light a house on fire and it has potential to engulf the entire place and everyone inside, that becomes attempted murder. And so that is how he's being charged, and that is why you see it said that way. So let's keep that in mind. We'll wrap this up with Elise. What do you most want to learn about this moving forward, or some unanswered questions you still see?
Absolutely. I mean, as Grace mentioned, we're still looking for a motive. No, it has not been determined a hate crime, but at this moment, that also has not been ruled off the table. So I'm just really interested to see how this moves forward, if at all this, raises to that level, or, if there was potentially another motive behind this.
Yeah, I will say that they've looked at some of his past writings. He was critical of a lot of Democrats, but also critical of Trump at times. So when they asked President Trump about this recently, he said he didn't like me, and he said he was a wacko, in his opinion. We will see what happens here. And we did learn that he turned himself in, and he's being evaluated at a hospital, is what we had heard before now, knowing that he will be arraigned. We were kind of waiting for that, and I guess they were working out the hospital situation. Fatima, I'll finish with you. We're looking here. We're looking at all this damage. A lot has to be changed before people can finally come back in here. And certainly when the governor's family can feel safe coming in here again. I will point out this is not their primary residence. It is the ceremonial one. Some people call it the governor's mansion. The official term is the governor's residence, but they also have a home in Montgomery County outside of Philadelphia. Last comment from you as you look at this and you think about what's next.
I mean, it's definitely been an interesting past 24 hours. I was there all day covering the presser and just seeing the governor himself pause and obviously, you know, feel his emotions with his family in mind. I mean, it's really just been such swift action coming from law enforcement and officials. I mean, it's really just been so interesting to see at the speed of which we're learning all these details. And of course, we're all curious to know the why.
We are. And unfortunately, as fast as they were to react, it's the fact that this person got that far will mean that people will be critical of the security here as well. And that's just part of how it works when there's a situation like this. We're glad everybody's okay. It is just superficial damage. It looks terrible, but that's just money when it comes to lives and injuries. We didn't have any of that. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. And we will look forward to seeing more of your reports on CBS 21 moving forward tonight. Thank you very much. As for you folks watching 21 Next, remember to always have your notifications up. That way, no matter when we get new information like this one right here, we can give that to you as soon as possible in this format. And go ahead and tell a friend, share it with somebody, and they can know the very latest on this arson and attempted homicide, attempted murder at the governor's residence over the weekend. And once again, the breaking news, the arraignment will be happening within the hour. I'm Joel D. Smith. We'll see you later on.